thought that was okay. What did everybody do this weekend? Anybody want to share? It was your birthday? Happy belated birthday. That's awesome. What did you do for your party?
Me, my cousin, and my parents went to the beach and had pizza.
Nice. Very fun. Which beach did you go to?
And
Edmonds. Okay. Cool. Nice. McKenna, what did you do this weekend?
Just up and doing maintenance. So,
You're like, what are we doing all weekend? All the weekends in the summer. Gotcha. Darian, what did you do this weekend?
organized my room.
Unpacked, right? You just moved. Anna, what did you do this weekend?
I worked at Fifth Ave, and then I started tech for the Shoreline Shorts that opened this weekend.
Nice, very cool. And your hair is different. It's wonderful and I love it. Everett, nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too.
Everett's shadowing Anna. So he's gonna, pronoun? He, okay. I'm just checking, you know, he's gonna hang out here with us. How was your weekend?
Good, bit nerve-wracking. I met my girlfriend's parents for the first time.
Ooh,
Yeah.
how did it go?
Pretty good, actually.
Good.
They bought me lunch, so
That's nice.
yeah,
That's
they
nice.
like me, hopefully.
Good.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Mm.
Good. Bye, how was your weekend? You can sit at the table.
I'm just funny.
Oh, okay. How was your weekend? Good. Yeah. Did you do anything fun? No? Okay.
I'm just here now.
You're like, I'm here.
Yeah.
This is what we did this weekend. My daughter and I went to Pride in the Park at Capitol Hill and had a good time. It was her first Pride event ever. Because we lived in a very red town in a red county for the last 3 years. So we didn't do any of that. Or I did, but not with her, because just to be safe. At our Black Lives Matter protest, there were literally, which she was in a stroller for, there was literally people with machine guns on the other side of the street watching us. So yeah, doing anything that was out of the norm is wasn't something I ever brought her to ever again. Just I didn't want her to die. So yeah, it was really nice to be able to go and be ourselves and have fun. And she loved all the things. The face painting, the fairy wings, like Delta Dental gave us, and just, she had a great time. So she had hair extensions because she wanted rainbow hair, but I'm not willing to like dye her hair at 4 years old. So yeah, that was her hair. So we had a good time. We both had tutus on, you know, the whole thing. So yeah, that was our weekend. And then Sunday we did nothing. We slept because Saturday was a lot. All right. So let's see, did I have any announcements? Hold on, make that smaller. Oh, yeah. Course evaluations are now available. If you guys could please do that, they should pop up on your Canvas, but they were also sent to your email that you have linked on CTC Link. So if you, okay, you guys are like, yeah, we saw it, cool. Please do it. I push these now because it goes towards the tenure process. I know McKenna knows about the tenure process because he was in my class last quarter. What, do you guys know what that is?
No.
Okay, so instructors who are going through the tenure process, it's a 3-year probation, which means once you get tenure, it's the highest award a professor can earn. And it means that you have a higher status, what makes it a little harder to fire you. So it's a job protection. Basically, the only reason somebody wouldn't get tenure is if they have like the students hated them, they're a terrible teacher, and they were like doing drugs, you know, like that. Those are all things that have happened that I've heard about. So, I always encourage my students to fill out the evaluation form. Yes, the board reads it and my committee reads it, but I read them too. I always like to know how I can improve. And fine.
Is it confidential or is it connected?
It's confidential. I don't know who said it. It's absolutely like anonymous and I don't even see it until next quarter. So after grades are submitted, yeah, if you want to see terrible things about me, now's your time. And there's also.
I think it would be hard to find terrible things about you.
That's fine. Thank you. I also want to let you guys know that if you want to go to a Pride event, there's a Pride event tomorrow on campus, in the courtyard. There's free food. I always think that that's like a big draw for everyone. There's free food, there's activities. I didn't know about it until, I don't know, I'm part of a group chat with like a bunch of queer like professors and staff on campus. And somebody said, oh yeah, there's a Pride event on Wednesday. I'm like, what? Like, where is this? It's not advertised, so it's really bummer. Our award-winning band, or I don't know if they're the jazz band, but they're going to be performing.
It's like a rock band.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, they
It's
just,
really loud.
they went to Alaska a couple weeks ago and performed there at a festival and they won an award and yeah, it was cool. I should know more. I'm in their division. I don't know all the things. Okay, and then the other, this isn't coming until next week, because this doesn't unlock until Monday, but there is a survey that's course feedback. And I don't know if it's anonymous, it's a Google form, so it probably isn't, but it's not specifically about me as a teacher as it is about this course and what I maybe should keep the same and what I should change. So if you guys could please fill that out, it shouldn't take you long. It's like 3 questions.
Not mine, not me. then.
No, just this one. Because I am always willing, want to change it. I'm also gonna add a link for Justin, who is the tech guy that was in here that you guys see sometimes, but Anna's boss, call me Anna's boss. He is the one who wants to know what you guys think of the high flex class. I'm just curious, what do you think of the ability to either come in person, be online, or watch it later? What is your opinion of that? Good, bad, annoying?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brilliant, yeah.
brilliant, okay, please tell Justin that, he'll love that. So yeah, I will put that link in there, if you guys could please fill that out for him, I'm sorry about all the surveys. I was like, oh my God, there's so many surveys at the last minute, because we're near the end of the course. All right, I think that's all of the announcements I wanted to make. Oh, sorry, there's so many. This is our module, we're module 10 this week. I believe we're almost done. You have your last discussion called the end. All right. It's here, and then there's gonna be a paraphrasing assignment, which we're talking about paraphrasing today. And then you have your rough draft. So on Thursday, we'll do another workshop day where I give you time to work on your rough draft for your essay. I'll be here to help you. If you haven't turned in your outline yet, there's still time. I know that you guys were working on those last week. And then we'll use those outlines on Thursday to create your rough drafts. So I will be here to help you with that. And I told Anna they can have the day off. Okay, or Everett in this case, because I think Everett was gonna
Both
cover
of
us,
us.
but we're not doing anything glamorous on Thursday, but writing, so. Okay. Let me get to this. I don't wanna log in, I just wanna use, oh my God, Prezi. Don't ever. It's mine, I own it. Did they give you my keys back? They did. I don't know what happens at Shoreline if you lose your keys, but at Big Bend, it was like you have to pay $20 per door. And most of the keys would open at least 25 doors, so you do the math on that. And it absolutely terrified me, absolutely terrified me. I had an air tag on it. So where's my keys? I didn't want to pay for that. So I don't know what happens at Shoreline, but I don't think I signed my life away when I got my keys. Okay, so we are talking about continuing our conversation about how to make your writing, specifically using your sources better work for you. Last week, we talked about how to avoid plagiarism. How did that work? Did that help you guys, do you think, seeing the real examples?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we talked about quotes, paraphrases, and summaries, but I want to kind of delve into that a little bit more, and this will help you with your red draft. Okay, what's the difference between all of these? All right, so a direct quote is what, well, we talked about it last week. What would you say? How would you put that in your own words? What's a direct quote?
The exact, quotation, it's direct.
Yeah, word for word, punctuation for punctuation, spelling error for spelling error, depending on the source, yeah. Science sources tend to have a lot of spelling errors. No shade to science, but I get it. So whatever is, if you're going to use another person's words, word for word, you need to put them in quotation marks. So last week when we talked about plagiarism, I said, what was an example of it being plagiarized, even if you had the source? Even if you put the source, but you forgot what?
Oh, the quotation.
Yeah, thank you. The quotation marks, the punctuation, it would still be considered plagiarized because if you don't have the quotation marks, it appears as if it's supposed to be a paraphrase, right? And a paraphrase is different than a quote because it's your own words, okay? So a quote is the author's words and you always cite your source, as I did here. So what's Myers 80, do you remember?
Name and page.
Author's name and the page number, good, thank you. That's what it should look like.
What if it's a video and you don't know, like if it's hard to?
Yeah, those are all different. If it's a video, sometimes it will have the person's name as listed like by John Doe or whatever. That was a terrible name to choose. Why did I do that? Sorry. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it'll say that, sometimes it'll say, like, maybe the person introduces themselves at the very beginning and you can use that. Most of the time, we would say use their username. So like on YouTube, everybody has like their handle, right? So whatever that may be, that's what you would use as your insight and in-text citation, okay? And then you also use timestamps the videos. So good question, Vi. Instead of using a page number, you would use the timestamps. So, yep, and no, come over here. Gotta switch my, hold on. Hold on. No. No, no. Hold on, stand by.
Mhm.
You got it.
There's so many buttons, Anna. Okay. All right, so if you're going to cite a video, you would put, let's say the source as that may or may not be my handle, okay? So you would put the name of the person, whatever their handle is, and if you did a video, you would put their timestamps, meaning that everywhere between 30 seconds to a minute is what I'm citing in my paper, okay? This is one of a really good example as to why MLA changes, because you have technology changes, right? Because of course, when I was your age, my God. All right, when I was younger and we were writing an English 101, maybe YouTube was just now a thing at that time. Sorry, my sister just reminded me how old I am the other day, so, all right. So this is just an example of why things continue to evolve. So keep that in mind as you are, writing and quoting and paraphrasing. Things may change where you have to remember, wait, how does how do I cite TikTok? Okay, be careful with citing TikTok. Remember, we've had this whole conversation about evaluating sources. Sometimes you've got legit people on TikTok though, like the Washington Post is there. Their videos are hilarious. Shout out to their social media team. So I think that it just depends on who you're citing. Obviously, if it's like Billy Bob in Oklahoma, who is just, you know, voicing their opinion, probably not a great source. But if you found a legitimate source on TikTok, I don't see why you couldn't use that, like the Washington Post, right? I don't know, so many different. It's like when Facebook got taken over by all of like the news agencies, now they're doing the same thing to TikTok. So you can find legitimate sources. All right. Nope, that's not the camera I want. Oh, are we good?
Yeah, you're good.
No, I just share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I hope everybody online appreciated all of that. Okay. There's nobody. Is there anybody online? No, it's just
Not right
us. Not right now.
Do
All
you
right.
wanna hide that Zoom menu?
Yep, I do. The people watching this later, I hope you appreciated all of that code, that switching. I'm still under the delusion that everyone's watching these, so, yeah. Okay. All right, so quotes. Anybody questions about quotes? Do we know how to quote? Do we feel comfortable about quoting? I don't sure. I probably have a slide for this, but I'm doubting myself. Have you, what does it mean when I say sandwich your quote? It's a weird phrase, so I'm just asking. Does anybody have any idea? Oh, man. Shorten it. Shorten it. Not necessarily, you can, right? Especially if you have a really long quote, you should probably consider not using that, right? You could use it and then you could summarize it or paraphrase it. Quoting should only be a couple sentences, okay? We talked about this before, and I will switch over for the people, not right now though. When you are going to introduce a quote, we called it a what? You need to have something. You can't just start quoting. What's the beginning part? Do you remember what it was called? This was a while ago. If you don't remember, it's okay. We call it the signal phrase. So before you have the quote, you need a signal phrase. And it could be something as simple as according to National Geographic. Okay? It could be something as simple as that. It's a lead in. The signal phrase is a lead in to the quote. Right? Then you have the quote. Whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. Okay? You have your citation. All right, and then after that, you have your analysis. Okay, so after the quote, you need to explain why that quote was so essential to your thesis statement, okay? Why was that something that was necessary to be included into your essays? So this is called the sandwich. I mean, I wrote it as a sentence, but as a sandwich, it would be signal phrase, quote, analysis. Each a part of the sandwich or hamburger or whatever. I heard it in so many different ways. But it's your, yeah. So when we say sandwich the quote, it means don't have a quote dangling. Make sure you are putting the information around it, because what happens if your essay is just quotes and paraphrases and summaries?
It's not reliable.
It's not, I mean, okay, it could possibly still be reliable because it's coming from different, I mean, you have legitimate sources, but what's missing?
Your own personal.
Your analysis, right? Remember, you're trying to prove your thesis, so you're constantly having to explain why this source supports your thesis. You can't just assume your audience will get it. They might, they might be intelligent enough to do that, but the entire point is to make sure that you demonstrate that you understand why they are essential to your thesis statement. So make sure you include your analysis. And in fact, I may have written on your essays, because I am returning them, but they're coming back, they'll be done by this week, end of this week. I might have said, make sure you support your quotes, make sure you use your own voice by including your analysis. Hi, Christopher, nice to see you. Okay. Oh. Oh, I had an example. Got way ahead of myself. All right. So you look at, you see that you have quotes. This right here, Martin Luther King Jr. won an All-American Salute past skin color. This would be in his I Have a Dream speech, he stated, and actually grammatically, there should be a comma right here. And this would be the signal phrase, this is the signal phrase introducing the quote. Then you have the quote, but what's missing? What's missing?
Citation.
Nope, citation's right here. And in fact, I could actually update this because it still says par 4, and we don't even do that anymore. It used to be paragraph 4, but thankfully the rules changed and we don't have to do that, which is great, because I was tired of counting paragraphs on the screen. What's missing?
Your analysis.
Your analysis, yeah. So after this, it has to be why this is essential to your thesis statement. Obviously, this is just an example, there's no thesis statement, but since we just talked about sandwiching your quote, I wanted to make sure you understand that you would still need your analysis. Interesting that it's cut off. Oh, I see what I was doing here. If you have the author's name in the signal phrase, then you don't have to include them in the citation. We don't do paragraphs anymore, so you just wouldn't include anything here unless you had a page number. But par 1 means that this came from the internet, and we don't do that anymore. We don't include the paragraph, which is really great. What am I trying to say here? Oh, okay. A quotation should never be longer than 2 sentences in an essay. I just said that. Okay, any questions about quoting? Do you get the idea of quotes? Okay, quotes are a really great way to enhance your essays and to make them more credible, right? We talked about making sure that you add the credibility, the ethics to your essay, so that your readers will know that you know what you're talking about, right? And you guys have found some really great sources for your essays. It's been fun to read them. Okay, so now we're moving on to paraphrasing. What is a paraphrase, guys? I mean, here's the dictionary definition, but what would you say? What's a paraphrase?
Just changing up the original source or whatever.
Absolutely. So you find your source. Let's say it's really, really great, but you know, more than 2 sentences. Maybe it's 4 sentences. Okay, so that's a long quote. But you can take that information and paraphrase it by taking their idea and writing it in your words. Okay. So whatever that, honestly, I like to do it in a way that I understand it. Think of it that way. I'm rewriting this in a way that makes sense to me. Okay. It needs to include the main points, and it needs to be about the same length. So if you found, if you're going to paraphrase something that's 4 sentences long, your paraphrase should be anywhere between 3 to 4 sentences long. So roughly the same length, okay? And make sure you don't just change some of the words, right? Even the sentence structure needs to change in a paraphrase, okay? I think you did the paraphrase assignment, didn't you guys, like in your other class? Yeah, so it's when you take an original piece and you write it in your own words. What should you always include? We'll get to that. All right. If a paraphrase is too similar to the original, it's considered plagiarism. Right? We talked about plagiarism a lot last week, okay? So what do you think I mean by if it's too close to the original? What would be too close to the original? What if I take something off the internet, find, oh wow, this is great. I copy it, I paste it into my paper, and I just change some words.
It's still not your own word.
It's still not my own words. It's still their sentence structure. It's still their words. I may have just used some synonyms. That's still plagiarism, right? So you need to rewrite it in your words. And then, of course, you must always give them credit. You must always cite them, even if it's a paraphrase. That's what I was looking for in the last question. You must always cite. You cite a quote. You cite a paraphrase. You cite a summary. If it's someone else's idea, cite it. When in doubt, cite it.
And when do you cite it? Like, you have to be really specific, which part of your essay, I don't know, should be.
Anytime it's, so like for the example at the top, I don't have quotes because I paraphrased it, okay? But I didn't say it, Myers did, so I still had to give them credit, okay? So even if it's in the middle of your paragraph, you would give them credit. It's at the end of the sentence, okay? The end of the sentence. Same thing with a quote. It's right after the end of the quote, okay? All right. Could you paraphrase all of Harry Potter? No. No, it's like 8 books, y'all. So you could do a section though, right? You could do a paragraph or, which means that you're rewriting it in your own words, describing it, okay? So here's an example passage. Sorry about the weird colors. All right, so here's the original, guys. The koala bear of Australia is a living teddy bear. Why is teddy bear in quotes?
It's not actually
Title?
teddy bear, it's what people call it.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a very specific term that you can't change. That was, okay. There's a very specific name that you can't change. Teddy bear is the name, right? Its thick coat of gray fur is just as soft as the beloved toy. The koala has a large head, big ears, and small dark eyes that look at you without expression. Sounds kind of creepy. All right, that's the original. Here is the paraphrase. The koala bear lives in Australia. It is really a teddy bear that is alive. It has thick gray fur that feels as soft as that of the toy bear. The koala has special features: big head, large ears, and little dark eyes without expression. Is it exactly the same? Is it word for word the same?
Not word for word, but
No.
the information is all the same.
But the information's the same, yeah. So here's the original, they took the original and they rewrote it in their own words, okay? Their own sentence, I mean, look, we have a colon here. There was no colon in the other one. They have their own sentence structure, their own punctuation, but you still have to, of course, cite it, which sadly isn't in here. But the point is that a paraphrase is their ideas, your words, okay? A quote is their ideas, their words. A paraphrase is their ideas, your words. You still have to cite them though. All right, a good paraphrase, if you want to like bullet points, here it is. And gives the source credit. It shows that you, the writer, understand what points were being made. It's different from the original. And it doesn't just substitute synonyms for words in the original sentence. It actually does rework the sentence structure. Here's some tips. on writing a good paraphrase. Okay, read the original. And then set it aside. Don't look at it. Okay? And then try to rewrite it. What you just read. Right? Rewrite what you just read in your own words. Why not look at it and then write, and then look at it and then write? What's gonna happen if you do that?
You're not memorizing.
You're gonna start memorizing, you're gonna copy it. That's essentially what you're gonna do, is you're gonna copy it. But if I read something, and then if I read these directions, and then I turn this off and ask you guys to write the directions, okay? You would have to write what you remember. Is it going to be exact? Probably not. It's going to be that idea, but your words. Then you go back and you check, is anything too close? Did I miss any of the main points? Okay? But that is the best way to write a paraphrase, is to read it and then try to rewrite it. Read the original and then try to rewrite it in your own words. And of course, cite it. Okay, any questions about paraphrasing? Oh, right then. Quick question, did everybody bring a computer? Do you have yours? Okay, good. I forgot to print the next activity. I miss our network, I miss our printers. So, I will need you guys to use your computers. All right, so, here we are summarizing. Did you at any point in your educational career have to summarize something? I feel like that was like a thing, like book talks, right? Is book talk still a thing? Where you have to read a book and then you have to tell your teacher about it? Do you remember doing that?
We had to read a book, and then to prove that we read it, we had to give like a small outline of
Okay,
the point of the book, I guess.
okay. So like a summary of the book. Okay, yeah. So that was I'm trying to think of like real world examples. That was an educational one. Here's one that you do all the time. You guys watch movies and then summarize them, right? You tell your friends about them. Oh my God, I just watched this awesome movie. I really didn't have to watch it. It's about blah, blah, blah. But you don't want to give away spoilers, right? So you're really careful with what you say. All right. I was telling my mom, I just watched this movie that like, I don't know why I did this. I don't like watching Nazi movies. They're sad. And I don't like being sad. That's not what I want entertainment to do for me. But I decided to watch it. Because they're like, we think Netflix is like, you'll love this, Jessica. It has romance. You're gonna think it's so great. And I'm watching, I'm like, nope, there are Nazis in it. Already not enjoying it. And it just got worse. And then there was a moment that just rocked my world. And I was like, Mom, I need you to watch this terrible movie so that we can talk about it. She's like, can't wait. So, and I summarized it it was about Black Germans during World War II.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's called When Hands Meet. Or Hands Touch. I'm sorry, if you watch it, I'm sorry. So there's Nazis. The Nazis are bad. Let's just leave it there. Okay, so summarizing, I just told you, it's about Black Germans during World War II. The Nazis are bad. There you go, there's my summary of that movie. So we do it all the time. We summarize all the time. The difference between a summary and a paraphrase is that a paraphrase has to be the same length. A summary does not. You could summarize an entire movie in just a couple sentences, okay? Or an entire book series. It doesn't focus on the examples. It only focuses on the main idea. Black Germans during World War II. By the way, did anybody know there were Black Germans during World War II? I did not. I did not. There were. You can imagine how well that went for them. So they sterilized them. I also didn't know that. Isn't that terrifying? Sorry, my whole world was shook this weekend. It was for whatever night that was that I decided I'd stay up and watch that movie. It's like, why? All right. So what you're doing with the summary is you just take the main point and you turn it into a sentence or two. You don't talk about the details. You can summarize an entire book. You can summarize a series of books. Oh, look, I can do it for Harry Potter. The Harry Potter books is about a boy wizard who goes to wizard school and makes friends, and they together battle the evildoers. The end. J.K. Rowling's, right? So, that is the summary of the whole series, right? I left out a whole bunch, but I gave you the cliff notes of, there you go, that's the summary, okay? So if you use a summary, if you summarize something, I mean, and you might, maybe you read, let's see, maybe you have a really beefy source, okay? That has a lot of great information, but you don't need all of it. You don't need to paraphrase all of it. You just need the gist of it. You just need the main idea. And so you just summarize the main idea of the source. You would still include the citation, but you don't have to do the whole 92-page source, okay? You're just summarizing those 92 pages, all right? Not that anybody has that, but I'm just using it as an example. I think I sent a report of some sort to one of your classmates that was about homelessness, which I realized, Christopher, I should send it to you now that I know your sources. So I found a whole bunch of sources if you want them.
Okay.
Okay.
I still gotta fix my citation section.
Okay, no worries. And so, then we can, you can, I don't know, the report was about Seattle homelessness. It's long, obviously, which we all know. And I think the report was something like 100 and something pages, but obviously you're not gonna cite the whole thing, but you could summarize it, right? And if you do that, and it's a good source because it's directly from the city of Seattle. Okay. All right. So we are going to practice paraphrasing.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah, you were creepy. I'm not talking to you.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Oh, no, we don't have that. But what I did is I took this practice and I put it on Canvas so that you do have paraphrasing practice that I would like you to complete. And I'm going to show it to you guys. Wait, unless anything else I want to talk about? No. There's my references. Let me show it to you in module 10, the paraphrasing assignment. Now, the reason I want you to practice paraphrasing is because it's a really great skill that a lot of people don't have. All right. A lot of the times I think people get freaked out when it comes to paraphrasing and they just copy the original or it's too close to the original, right?
Isn't that copy or whatever?
Like copy paste,
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. It's so easy to do, right? It's so easy to copy and paste from the internet, drop it in your essay, change a few things, cite it, and then you're done. All right, if it's too close to the original, it's not a good paraphrase. It has to be their idea, but your words, okay? So let's practice. So this is the assignment. It talks about how to paraphrase. So here's the original. Up to 90% of wastewater in developing countries flows untreated into rivers, lakes, and highly productive coastal zones, threatening health, food security, and access to safe drinking and bathing water. My source is WWDR, page 202. What is wastewater?
Unhealthy water.
Think about it though.
Toxic.
Sewage.
Oh,
It's
wait,
sewage. Yay.
that's not good.
That's not good. So here's the original, here's the paraphrase. According to WWDR, so the source, developing countries dump 90% of wastewater directly into water sources, causing unsanitary conditions. Is it the same idea?
When you put page 202,
Yep, right there. Oh, you don't have to put P. No, you just put 202. And because we have the source here in the signal phrase, we don't have to put it here again. You don't have to put P 202. We know that this means page 202. MLA nitpickiness. Not my rule. It's their rule. All right. But does this make sense, guys? How you do this? It's roughly the same length, right? So this is one sentence long, this is one sentence long. It's just a shorter, more condensed version of that sentence, okay? That's what you're doing. All right, let's look at this one. Every day, 2 million tons of human waste are disposed of in water courses. Source World Water Assessment Program, page 85. I'm not entirely sure why I chose this to be what we are gonna talk about for this example, sorry. Here's the paraphrase version. 2 million tons of human waste are dumped daily into rivers, lakes, and oceans. Is it, and I cited my source, is it exactly the same? It's not exactly the same. You could even change this from human waste to sewage, right? Even more so, 2 million tons of sewage daily into rivers, lakes, and oceans. That's terrifying. All right, so again, their idea, your words, okay? All right. The paraphrase reflects the same idea as the original, but it's in your words and your writing style. There is a citation. Guys, read the original 3 times and then try to rewrite it without looking at it again. Read the original 3 times and then try to rewrite it. Notes from me, it's someone else's idea, but it's your words. You must cite it. I cannot stress that enough. Because oftentimes what I'll see is a paraphrase that's not cited. Okay, so make sure you cite it, because what happens if you don't cite it? It looks like what?
Plagiarism.
It's plagiarism, because it looks like your work. Okay, but if you're telling me 2 million tons of human waste is being dumped into waterways and you don't cite it, I'll be like, how do you know that? Like, right? How is this just common knowledge for you? So you have to definitely include the source. Do you need to cite common knowledge? Humans produce waste. Do I need to cite that?
No.
No, hopefully not. Hopefully everyone's aware. I mean, my daughter has a book called Everyone Poops. Do we need to read that? Okay. So no, we don't need, that's common knowledge. You wouldn't actually need to cite that. But if you're talking about how that, 2 million tons of it is dumped into waterways, that you would need to cite because that's not common knowledge. Okay. All right, so here is the assignment. You have 3 paraphrases, okay? You're going to read these and then rewrite them in your own words, okay? I'm gonna give you guys time to work on this now before we move on to the next activity. So let's work on the first one together. All right, you wanna get your computers out and open up a document? And while you do that, I'm gonna show the people at home the sandwiching your quote thing. Okay, people at home. I said, when you're sandwiching a quote, you need to have, you can actually see my, yes, that's funny. You need to have your signal phrase, which is your lead in to the quote. Then you have the actual quote in quotation marks with a citation. And then after the quote, you would put your analysis, your understanding as to why this quote is important to your thesis statement. And then the sandwich looks like this: signal phrase, quote, analysis. Why did it do that?
I don't think you picked.
Oh, I didn't have basic, okay,
Yeah, there you go.
all right. All right then. So everybody ready with your Word document? Okay. I'm gonna zoom in, that will help you. Or maybe I'm not. Yeah, we're just focusing on number 1. The Antarctic is the vast source of cold on our planet, just as the sun is the source of our heat, and it exerts tremendous control on our climate, Jacques Cousteau told the camera. The cold ocean water around Antarctica flows north to mix with warmer water from the tropics, and its upwellings help to cool both the surface water and our atmosphere. Yet the fragility of this regulating system is now threatened by human activity. From the source, Captain Cousteau, Audubon Society, May 1990. McKinnon, can you read number 1 again?
The Arctic is the vast source of cold on our planet, just as the sun is the source of our heat, and it exerts tremendous control on our planet. And Jacques,
French.
Jacques Cousteau told the camera, the cold ocean water around Antarctica flows north to mix with warmer water from the tropics, and its upwellings help to cool both the surface water and our atmosphere. Yet the fragility of this regulating system is now threatened by human activity from Captain Cousteau, Audubon, May 1990.
Thank you. By the way, who's the source? How would you, did they give you an actual name of a person who wrote this? Because they're interviewing Jacques Cousteau, so he's not the source. Audubon is the name of the publisher, so we would not include them. Your source would look like this. And you don't need to know that it's, we don't care that it's 1990. It would be the name of the article. That's it, right? You put it in quotes. It's an article name, okay? That would be your source. Molly, do you feel comfortable reading number 1 again? Can you read it again?
Yeah. The Antarctic is a vast source of cold on our planet, just as the sun is the source of heat, and it exerts tremendous control on our planet.
Jacques.
Jacques Cousteau told the camera, the cold ocean water around Antarctic flows north to mix with warmer water from the tropics, and its upwellings help to cool both the surface water and our atmosphere. Yet the fragility of the regulating system is now threatened by human activity.
Awesome. Oh, yeah, sorry.
The one, May 1990.
Good. All right, thank you so much. All right, so what we just did is we've read it 3 times out loud, right? That was intentional. Now what I'd like you to do, not looking at the assignment, is to actually rewrite it in your own words, the idea. So don't look at it. I want you to rewrite it in your own words, okay? So go ahead and give it a shot. I'm gonna turn this off. Go ahead and give it a shot and see if you can do it. And then we will come back in a couple minutes. I'm just gonna give you a few minutes and see what. Share for right now. All right. So the original is coming, don't worry, guys. It's right here. The Antarctic is the vast source of cold on our planet, just as the sun is the source of our heat, and it exerts tremendous control on our climate, Jacques Cousteau told the camera. The cold ocean water around Antarctica flows north to mix with warmer water from the tropics, and its upwellings help to cool both the surface water and our atmosphere. Yet the fragility of this regulating system is now threatened by human activities. How did you do? Did you know? Some of you are like, no. So here's mine. You don't have to have the exact same as mine. This is just what I wrote. In an interview with Jacques Cousteau, he explained that the Antarctic helps regulate climate temperatures for the planet. This is done through currents in the ocean as they mix with both cold and warm water. This natural system is now in danger because of humans. Okay, that is the same idea. It's written in my own words. And I included my source, Captain Cousteau. The article is in quotes, but the period on the outside of the parentheses. Any questions about that? It takes time, it takes practice, guys. It's not a skill that you're just gonna be like, light bulb, I've got it. It really does take practice. My mom taught English for 30-something years. She doesn't remember how long. And she said it was the #1 skill that her students had to develop before they were able to go into college English, because it was hard. It's hard. Paraphrasing is hard. Why do you think it's so hard?
We don't use it every day. In
Well-
writing, I guess.
It's, I think that you do when you're talking like. I don't use gossip as an example, but that's
Or
what's coming
more
into my
like,
brain,
I
but
guess it's not taught enough, like where teachers and professors would teach student essays.
yeah, it's not a skill that we really try to cultivate. And so, but it is definitely a skill that you need to learn. I had to paraphrase my boss the other day, right? When at a report, I was like, oh, the associate dean said blah, blah, blah. He wasn't right there in front of me to say it again. I just had to remember what he said, okay? And so, so that's just a real world example of when I would be paraphrasing, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind, that it is a skill that you will use in the workforce as well. You just may not realize it. Okay. So go ahead and work on these, please. You have 2 and 3 to do still. Hopefully you've written 1 for 1. I'm gonna give you guys 15 minutes to work on this. Do the best you can, use your time wisely, and then we're going to look at an example persuasive essay, okay? So go ahead and work on this. And then if you want me to come around and help you, I'm more than happy to do that. Questions, concerns? No? Okay. All right. I will go ahead and pause the share for now. Okay. So I started it, when riding a bicycle, it is a good idea to wear a helmet, according to Bike Helmets Unused Lifesavers. Right? How else, what else could we include there? So look at that. One study concluded that wearing a bike helmet can reduce the risk of head injury by 85%. How could you rewrite that?
Yet when wearing a bike helmet, rates of head injury plummeted.
Okay. Good. I love that. Okay. How do we talk about how 3/4 of bike deaths are caused by head injuries? I'm also thinking maybe I should make my daughter wear her helmet more often now, by the way.
Many bike accidents, head injuries are the most common.
Okay. Boom.
No.
You did it. No, that was McKenna. So how would you, and then we put the page number, which is what?
341.
Yeah,
Why did I not include the name of the article again?
according.
Yeah, it's already a part of our paraphrase. Does that make sense how you do that?
Is that the bike helmets?
Yep. Yeah. Is it close to the original, but not too close? It's the same idea, but our words, right? Yeah. There you go. That's how you do it. It really does just take practice and rewording it in your own words. Any questions about how to do it? Do you think you just need to try? Yeah, that's fine. Oh, we're recording again? Thank you.
Yeah.
God bless you. My students at home, thank you, Anna, because I would be, oh yeah, I just taught something. Okay. So this assignment, which we have practically done, okay, is due this week. So make sure that you get that done, and it's the on Canvas module 4, module 10 assignment paraphrasing. Okay. All right. Questions, concerns? Just want to scream at me. All right. Let's go back to modules. Since you all have your computers out, this is perfect. Please go back to module 10 and click on the example persuasive essay, please. We all see it? I'm gonna open it in a new browser. Okay, so the same thing that I did when we did the cause and effect essay, I showed you an example essay. I would love for you to work with a partner. Molly, can you work with Darian, and Chris, you want to work with McKenna? Do you prefer Christopher, or is Chris okay?
Chris is okay.
Okay, I just realized I was shortening your name and I never asked if that was okay.
Mm.
All right, so here is an example essay that I wrote. For all of you who are going to ask, this very long word is pronounced neonicotinoids. I'm sorry, I didn't name it. You're gonna read about neonicotinoids and how they kill honeybees, okay? Yay, all right. Your assignment is on the very last page, which is page 7. Here's the task that you need to complete. Obviously you can't circle, but you can, you could make a copy of this. If you go to File, Make a Copy, you can edit it in your own Google Doc so that you can underline, highlight, make bold, whatever you want to do. So go to File, Make a Copy so that you can edit this document and answer the 7 questions that are on, are they 7? 6 questions that are on page 7. So please get with your partner and do that now. Thank you. People at home, you can work on that and then come back in a second and we will just give you the answers. Could you please pause it? So the first thing you were supposed to do is wait, I'm not sharing, just a minute. No, no. Share, okay. All right, so the first thing you were supposed to do is identify the thesis statement. Would somebody like to read the thesis statement? Exactly where it's supposed to be, which is where? Come on, guys, where's the thesis go?
The end of the intro.
The last sentence of the introduction paragraph. Oh. Molly, what is it? Did you have it?
Due to the harmful effects of
Nicotinoids.
neonicotinoids, all pesticides made with these harmful chemicals should be banned globally.
Awesome, thank you. And it's okay if you don't say neonicotinoids correctly. My dad, God rest his soul, couldn't say it for like his entire life. Like he would always be like, Jessica, how do I say this word? So it's okay. All right, so that is the thesis statement. And the first topic sentence, Christopher, what's the first topic sentence of the first body paragraph? The first sentence of the first body paragraph.
Honeybee colonies are collapsing due in part to pesticide poisoning.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, right away. That is, how does it support the thesis? How does it tie in? What was the same word?
This talks about poisoning.
Yeah, pesticides. Yeah, it talks about pesticides. Pesticide, yeah, boom. Thank you. Darian, what's the next topic sentence for the next paragraph? Neonicotinoid.
Neon pesticides lead to shortage.
Good. Again, how does this relate to the thesis?
Food storage.
The-
Shortage.
The pest, yeah, so the pesticides again, right? Pesticides, it's relating back to all these problems. And this one has an extra body paragraph. I don't know if you guys noticed that. What's the next one, Molly? The next thesis statement? I mean, topic sentence. Starts with finally.
Finally,
Neonicotinoids.
neonicotinoids are present within the environment.
Awesome, okay? So again, the connection there is the word neonicotinoid, right? Going back with, all of those tie in with the thesis. And then I give examples as to why there would be a food shortage, how it's present within the environment. And how the honeybees colonies are collapsing because of them. I'm here to depress you today, by the way. Sorry. All right. The next one, what's the next question? Okay, the counter argument and rebuttal. McKinnon, did you find it?
The counter argument is that neonicotinoids are the commonly used form of insecticide. The rebuttal is that by reducing them, it would help conserve America's ecosystem and biodiversity.
Good. Yeah, so I talk about why they're widely used and give you an example that soybeans and corn are the ones that use neonicotinoids the most. Have you ever seen well, we live on the west side, but if you've ever been on the east side, you might see a plane that flies low over the fields. They're dropping poison. So they are onto the cornfields, especially on the east side of the state. And that is to kill off all insects, but all means all, right? Including the bees and the butterflies and all the pollinators. There are places in the world now that have a shortage of bees that they actually have to hire people to pollinate and people aren't very good at it. Do the Q-tip and like they're going into apple trees, trying to like pollinate the apple trees, but they're only getting about half of them because we're not meant to do it ourselves. The bees are. So, yeah. Have you guys seen that really happy meme of a bee that says, if we die, we're taking you with us? Yep. All right. But yes, you're right, McKinnon, that the rebuttal is educating farmers on different ways to only target the insects that cause harm instead of the ones that are there to help. And finding other seed treatments. And yep, and then of course, yeah. So all of this is this part's the rebuttal, okay? So it gives you, at the beginning part is the counter argument. It's the reasons why neonicotinoids are used and why they're necessary. But then the rebuttal is there are alternative methods, right? Okay. So did you guys take a look at the sources used? There are quite a few, I'm aware. The works cited has what? 7 sources? Okay, what's your minimum for your essay?
2.
2. 4 is great. Your minimum is 2. There's no maximum, okay? You need at least 2 sources. So just gave you an idea of how you guys seemed to like that last time, how to integrate the sources to be able to see an example of that. So that's what this is for you. And then I wanted to show you a sandwich. I used the 3rd body paragraph, the one about neonicotinoids are present within the environment. So here, if you look at my screen, additionally, neonicotinoids also affect water sources. These chemicals have been found in various bodies of water, for example. So why is this highlighted pink? What is this in my sandwich? Look at the board if you can't remember the phrase.
You see it's at the last paragraph?
Signal phrase.
It's a signal phrase. Yeah, it's right here. It's the 3rd body paragraph. Okay, so it's the signal phrase is highlighted in pink. Purple highlight is what? The quote. Thank you, Vi. And then the blue, what is this? My what?
Thesis we name.
Well, it's the sandwich part. What's the 3rd part of the sandwich? Analysis, thank you. So yeah, so you have the signal phrase, the quote, and then the analysis. And I just wanted to show you what that can look like in an essay, okay? Yeah, again, just here to ruin your day. Toxic chemicals, yay. All right, we talked about poop, we've talked about killing honeybees today. What a day. Man, never a dull moment in English 90. Okay, so finally, what was the restatement of the thesis statement in the conclusion? Did you find that one? What was it, McKinnon?
As America continues to twiddle their thumbs and ignore this very real threat, all that is happening is more and more toxins are being pumped into people and pollinators, therefore pursuing the demise of both.
Well, that is a very strongly worded phrase. I don't think that's the restatement. Remember, it's a restate. That would be, what am I appealing to, by the way? In that?
Politicians.
Oh, well, politicians are absolutely my audience, but what logos, pathos, ethos, what am I appealing to in that last sentence that McKenna just read? Emotion, yeah. I'm playing on people's emotions. I'm playing on fear, right? Fear and disgust. That we're all gonna die. Yes, very, very, very emotionally charged, but not the restatement of the thesis. Did somebody find it? In the conclusion? It's on page 4. Well, first of all, going back to the thesis statement is, due to the harmful effects of neonicotinoids, all pesticides made with these harmful chemicals should be banned worldwide. So then if I go back down to my conclusion, it is the duty of citizens and politicians alike to rise up and demand together that the use of these toxic chemicals be banned. I'm calling for a ban in both the thesis statement and then the restatement right there. Okay, any questions on all of this? Was it helpful to see an example? Okay, I'm gonna have another example on Thursday. I wrote another one. And it's not as hard to pronounce as this one, so I decided to write another one. And we're going to look at that at the beginning of class on Thursday, and then we will work on your essay Thursday. We're gonna be typing your rough draft. You can log in online, and I will help you. I told Anna and Everett they don't need to be here, so we're gonna use Hal, or Handy Hal. I'm not gonna get the owls out. No offense, owls. You guys are very.
Who?
The owls, yeah, who? So if you want to zoom in on Thursday, I can help you that way. I think Darian, you're gonna zoom in, right? Okay. Otherwise, I will be here to help you get your rough drafts started, because your rough drafts are due when? Sunday. Okay. So let's, one more time, just to show you, module 10 is what you're working on this week. And so we started the paraphrasing assignment today. Hopefully you can finish it. We're going to be working on the rough draft Thursday in class. You do have a reading for the end that you need to read and respond to, but so 3 assignments, guys, just 3 assignments. You can do it. And don't forget, you have until June 16th at 11:30 a.m. to submit everything. Okay, so if you have anything that you haven't submitted yet, you have until next Friday at 11:30 a.m. to submit it. Questions, concerns, complaints? Screaming into the void? Okay, in that case, enjoy the weather. Have a beautiful day. I will see you guys on Thursday. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.